Hola, hi there. My name's Bob Dunsmore, and this is my home in Vallecitos, which has 5 tons of adobe with linseed over the top. And that 5 tons of adobe is on top of blueboard insulation, so all the heat I get with even overheating in the winter, making me have to open the doors. It's 36 feet of glass, double pane, that keeps this area's, the floor is always trying to seek ambient temperature. And if for any reason we get a long spell of clouds in the winter time, when there's not much sun then available, we just fire up this beautiful low-pi stove. And so we're just burning very little in the morning to kind of break the chill. But the heat that accumulates during the day stratifies in these different parts, segments of the floor joists, and cannot go upstairs to the second floor because of a curtain right there. And then plexiglass, which could be real glass someday, I hope. Plexiglass is all the way around that well so that the heat cannot escape. And as I pointed out earlier, it stratifies under the floor, creating a radiant floor for nighttime release of heat. So in the winter, sometimes we find ourselves 2 or 3 in the morning kicking off covers, because the heat's just radiating through. And the radiant heat communicates with the radiant heat of the floor. So there's a communication benefiting me going on there. Just a beautiful home. I love living here. It's just so wonderful to care for it. As long as I'm talking about it, it's important to know that the blinds can reject the sun on a hot winter when there's a lot, I should say, a very sunny day in the winter, which happens a lot. I'll put the blinds at least a 45 to reject the winter sun, but make sure that the blinds don't go any further down than the Trombe. On the other side is, the glass goes all the way down. Let's see if we can get the camera down there to where you can actually possibly see the chocolate colored Trombe, where the sun will continue to hit it and store heat while we stay a little cooler in here. Well, let's put it this way, more comfortable. I am taking a big leap. It's a little scary, but I'm realizing how difficult it is to move the machinery of the creative edge of education. I have come to understand, after working in 20 countries, that true education is exactly what the original word in Latin, educare, meant, which was to draw out, like you would educare water from a well. True education is one that draws out of you, draws you to a home built for $40 a square foot, which has no bills, no heating, no cooling bills, and no electric bills. We do use propane for cooking. I'm hoping that will change someday to natural gas, which we could produce here in northern New Mexico. There's a lot of raw material for that. And you can run any gasoline engine with fuel injection. You can run it on the gas produced from horse and what's it called? Well, anyway, from the pig farm down here, hog heaven. There are other wonderful sources for methane, but electricity is not a concern because we installed these solar panels, and so we didn't have to pay Kit Carson $5,000 to bring a line in from the community. That $5,000 we invested in those solar panels, and the price has come down incredibly to where we're talking about 75 cents or 50 cents a watt. When I bought that, it was like $10 a watt. It's just incredible. So I have decided to share with you, to try to draw out an interest in what has filled my life with passion. Being invited to 20 different countries to share what I'm learning, to share with you as someone, for example, who just 2 years ago figured out this amazing truth. Here's lesson number one. It dawned on me that radiant heat doesn't heat air. And that until fossil fuels, mankind never heated air to be comfortable. They heated rock, fireplaces, the fire circle in the teepee where all the hot air is going. Big hole up there. How the heck, I asked myself. No, this was revealed to me once I realized that radiant heat doesn't heat air, it heats you directly. That they slept around the fire circle, which had fire going all day. They just let the fire die out at night, and the rocks would continue to radiate heat all night long for a very close-knit, warm experience, even on the coldest winter days. And so I might have 50-degree air in this house, but because of the Adobe floor and over a ton of brick on top of blue board insulation, it is just a wonderful experience to feel maybe 75 degrees when air temperatures are actually around 50. There are some expensive tools to measure radiant temperatures. One that I use isn't that accurate in many cases is the laser gun thermometer, but the floor will read 75, and the temperature in the house, the gauge we have here in the house, will read well, let me think. It might read 55 degrees. So here's what we've got today. I don't know if you can see that. It's 43 degrees outside, 73 degrees in here, thanks to 36 feet of glass, which, by the way, at night we close like this. I believe that the warm air that is cooled off by the windows just kind of sloughs off and creating kind of a dead air space there. But then it is followed by the serape. We tuck the serape in down below so that the Trombe wall is tucked in every night. And that keeps the heat that's accumulated in the wall here from escaping out the front. It is also helped by the shades, the blind, and the fact that the glass is double glazed. So we're going through a half a cord of wood in a typical winter, and so it's like the just to break the chill usually in the morning, especially on cloudy winter days, where the stove maintains the thermal temperature of the entire floor and continues to keep the flywheel releasing energy even during cloudy weather. So we're turning radiant heat that's radiantly heating a floor into a radiant release system that is dirt cheap. Get it? Like dirt cheap. There's more I could tell you about the house. I mean, look at, we're running a fridge and washing machine and even a dishwasher using the sun. I tell you, I love to wash clothes with the power of the sun. Absolutely free. And very abundant. Contrary to the false news. Today it's been quite windy. Maybe we'll be able to catch some of that energy. But I want you to know that this greenhouse is revolutionary and so simple. The basic idea here is that you have chicken wire pulled taut before you put on the plastic. So when the wind blows against brittle, cold plastic, say at night, the plastic only moves an inch or two. Here you can maybe see it better. I think I hear some wind coming. So I think you can see the chicken wire there. But even having chicken wire underneath the plastic means is that this plastic might last for 15 years. I walked into a greenhouse like this in the Altiplano of Bolivia, where chicken wire had kept the plastic going for 14 years. And apparently it wasn't a UV resistant plastic either. But this is the part that really excites me perhaps even more. Oh, by the way, you have to paint the entire inner and outer surface of the chicken wire with enamel paint, oil-based paint. But here's a cob wall. which was built just using clumps of mud and mixed with a little straw. The way walls are built in earthquake-prone areas. This moves as one monolithic structure when the earth moves, whereas adobe bricks, an adobe brick will simply shear right along the mortar, and has killed millions of people because it was introduced as something superior to the native form. This is known as bajareke, and with bamboo inserted, which I only put this here for demonstration. I have nothing in there in the way of rebar, bamboo, nada. It's just held together like a jigsaw puzzle with binding of straw. Oh, this is where I built a little horno in case I needed it. I only burned it as a test burn, but never have needed it. And the temperatures inside this greenhouse fell to 10 degrees below zero. And look, the vegetables made it through the winter and are just bursting now in March. Here's arugula. This is garlic. And this was all an experiment to see what would happen with a radiant wall inside a greenhouse space. So this is what has radiated even through 10 below zero temperatures to keep a garden alive. Just blew me away. Here's an example of some lettuce that's flourishing next to the cob wall. Oh, and the interesting thing about the fireplace is that I learned from an old gentleman in El Salvador how to use a bottle. Use a bottle and pack it with mud, and then pull the bottle out and pack it with more mud, and you can make an adobe chimney, which I did all the way through here, so that when I start a fire, it actually moves heat through the entire wall on the east side and then all the way up here on the west side. I never did need it this winter. As I said, it got down to 10 below zero and the greenhouse was wide open. I was a little worried coming out in the morning the next day, but they were looking fine. So this is this is revolutionary stuff that is so simple and understood throughout the world, and so I hope to see this technology just expand with the understanding that the plastic is not necessary. It might be more necessary, of course, here in northern climes, but the fact is that the wall will radiate, even is not affected really by the greenhouse. The fact that the greenhouse receives heat from the surface of the cob wall, or from the earth here that's been absorbing heat all day, it'll hold that heat in. We have insulation, at least on the north slope, some styrofoam that we were given that I cut up. So this is my radiant greenhouse, and I forgot to tell you that this is a damper. I don't know if I explained that, but inside there is a metal plate. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but very little movement with what are expected to be 60-mile-an-hour winds today. Let's go back into the house. One of the things I want to talk to you about is the number one cause of infant mortality in the world. With the people of El Salvador in a town called Colima, we came up with a solution to the number one cause. And I can talk more about this inside. A latrine that is movable. The number one cause, I'm putting in here to break the wind against my heart. The number one cause of infant mortality in the world, everybody knows, it's contaminated water. But I don't know how I found this out. I don't remember. Probably United Nations statistics showing that the primary source of the contamination around the world is the deep pit latrine. As the population explodes, wells are placed next to more and more deep pit latrines, or vice versa. The latrine is placed next to a well. And a movable platform made out of wavy chicken wire and just 1 inch of cement, slightly domed with a hole in it. You could even put a toilet seat on there for the fancier customer. Okay, ahí está. Now, what made all this possible is turning chicken wire, which is available around the world, into a wavy pattern. And so I'm going to talk to you about the wavy chicken wire machine. We have some videos, and so we'll refer you to, under W, to wavy chicken wire machine, and the amazing potential it has. Most importantly, in capturing water, because you can build a 10,000 gallon water tank for about $150 in Bolivia. 10,000 gallons with wavy chicken wire. So we'll check that out in just a bit. I think right now I'll close and we'll see how this first introductory segment went. Look forward to the interaction face-to-face with you when I get a chance. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.